I'll invite you, Malav. Wait. I think we're on air. Should be. Players and party. Yeah, done. I sent you an invite. Just check if you've gotten it.
I got it. Manan ne bheja.
Yeah, I mean we're streaming right now, but there's a lot of dead time because I don't know when they're gonna go live. So yeah, just waiting for it. I think they should be readying up now. I guess.
Yeah, I think people will ready up as
Okay,
the
yeah, the
message has
ready up
gone from
message
Manan.
has gone through. So yes, let's see season finale. It is for tier two championships. I'm just gonna pull out the points table just to make sure I don't get this one wrong. I probably will, but points. There we go. Okay, T2. All right, 10 more seconds and then the lobby is a go.
Oh, it's Russia.
Yeah, of course it's Russia. It was bound to be Russia. Okay,
How
I
can I
think.
not see this coming? Gupt as a league director and Russia is the season
Yeah.
finale.
Okay, we've loaded it. So, Privet, hello, namaste, whatever greeting you're comfortable with. Good evening or good morning, depending on the times when you're watching this song. But here we are. League of Sandbaggers has reached its conclusion for season 1, and we are closing it off with the tier 2 finale. I'm joined by my co-commentator here. You can beat me slash Malav. Malav, how does it feel, to be a part of League of Sandbaggers and the fact that we've made it quite well to the end of season 1.
We're absolutely thrilled to be a part of this. I believe uh, Tier 1 got concluded yesterday with Somer and Red Bull being the Drivers and Constructors Championship champions respectively, and I think we have a championship to decide tonight.
Yes.
So
So
pretty
it's a
excited to be a
three-way.
part of this.
It's a
Yeah, go
three-way
on.
tonight. It's a three-way for the title tonight. We have Smith, who has 104 points. We have Vintage, who has 102, and we have Sid Venkatesh, who has 91 points. So two Alpha Tauris and one McLaren driver in the running for the title right now.
Yeah, so should be interesting. And Russia is a track where overtaking is possible, but it's also difficult if you get into a kind of a DRS tray, as is on a lot of tracks on this game. So should be a fun race and almost full lobby. That always helps. 18 drivers in.
Yes, of course. The only issue with Russia, however, is the fact that ERS region is quite poor around this track. So you really have to set up an overtake as opposed to being able to, go flat out behind someone for lap after lap and then trying to pull something on them. So it should be interesting. Qualifying, as in that sense, does matter quite a fair bit around this track. So it should be interesting. A long run up to what is turn 2, because turn 1 is that slight kink that on the straight. So turn 2, that run up decides everything. Really, on lap 1, if you can get past someone, you've done it already.
Yeah, and one of those tracks where getting pole position is probably not the best place to be. I can think of Mexico as well. It's such a long run down to the first braking zone, which is turn 2. So if you're on pole, you're punching that hole through the air and allowing others to benefit from the slipstream behind. So it will be interesting to see how people strategize their qualifying, because while pole might not be the best place to start, P3 or P4 could be.
Yes, I remember it was Bottas on Drive to Survive
Yes.
who said that if you want to win at Russia, P3 is the best place to do it from. So
Yeah,
let's see.
and yeah, so and Bottas is the Russian track master. I think he
He's the
swatted off
Rush.
an attempt by.
Yeah. Uh, who was it? Lewis Hamilton that year? Or was it the Ferraris? My
It
memory is
was
not.
Vettel. I'm very sure it was Vettel. I think it
Yes,
was
yes, it was.
2017 or
Yes,
18. It
yes, it
might
was
have been
Vettel.
17,
It was
where
Vettel.
yeah, it
So
was Vettel who was unable to make an overtake on him, which was a bit surprising with the engine Ferrari had that year. But watching Sid Venkatesh, one of the title contenders, who has just started his hot lap and is just navigating through that tricky turn 4.
So Sid, of course, has taken it as a challenge upon himself. He's gone traction control and ABS off as well. So this should be very, very interesting.
Oh, he's got
Russia,
ABS off as well. I did not know that.
yes. So he asked me for help about it, and I did tell him that you should learn things one at a time. But he's decided to, as a great driver I know, whose name is 7B, who decided to switch off all assists in one go. Sid's only assist to go is right now is racing line, and after that he'll be all assist off as well. So this should be interesting to see. Russia is quite a demanding track, especially in the third sector for very, very good braking. I'm pretty sure you have witnessed what happens when drivers don't brake properly for the third sector.
I have, and I had to shout at the top of my voice when that happens. But Sid, there, that's very respectful. Going ABS off as well. I think one assist, which I don't think I will ever be able to turn off. But he's doing reasonably here. One corner to go.
And here we come, 33.4. So a decent banker by Sid. Surprisingly, since there's not much, this is again one of those tracks where if you're in the top 10, you really want to start on those softs, because if you qualify, let's say someone qualifies on pole using medium tires, he'll have a very compromised run, and then you don't want to be
Yeah.
stuck in a position where you're just following someone. So
Medium tires. Speaking of which, Vintage is putting on his first lap on a set of mediums.
meanwhile, look at
The race
Thakurva's
is
time. He's gone half a second, near half a second faster than everyone else in his banker lap. So we like to see such an aggressive start. Meanwhile, Vintage coming up. I think this will be a 33 something. Oh, it's a 32.5. So that's a decent lap by Vintage on mediums at too. So he has about, let's say, a second to gain on that. Track evolution and all that stuff.
Smith Shah, one corner to go. He's going to finish his lap soon and goes P2.
Smith Shah goes P2. So Thakur, who has obviously got a lot of reps on this track, I mean, aside from one small mistake, he does have quite a decent bit of repetitions on this track. So this should be interesting to see what Thakurva can do.
Yeah, and his first lap itself is pretty strong. I think he has a couple of times at least in the bag when we enter the final stages of qualifying. So should be fun. Who else is on a lap? I think Manan has invalidated, and it seems like not a lot of drivers right now who are on a hot lap right now.
Sorry for going. Sorry for not speaking for some time. I was just making sure that my clip was the correct one that I sent. Where things happened to me in another league, but we won't talk about it right now.
We move, as Arsenal fans says. Uh, so Manan is going to cross the line. It's not going to be a representative lap time anyway, but he might just be going on another lap on the same set of tires. So
I mean,
let's see. I think.
that lap didn't count for him, so I think he might have invalidated some point because he still shows
Yeah, he did
317 on my
invalidate
screen.
it somewhere in sector 2, and I think he's going to go again.
He's going again. Let's see how he sets it up. He's taking good lines right now. Oh, that was very, very close to invalidating there. And somehow his car is not offset by what happened there just now. He keeps going at it. He looks strong. The car looks extremely planted, and one of the things you want around Russia is to make the lap look as tidy as possible, because you cut down on mistakes. And of course, some of these curves are auto spin curves, the high orange ones, so you don't want to take too much of the curve as well.
Yeah, missed the apex by a slight margin in that right hander, but otherwise looks a decent lap. The car, as you say, is quite planted, so I think he's running some soft suspension here, which is going to help him. And let's see how he finishes this lap.
He's coming up to sector 3 right now. This is where it's a tricky braking zone. Slide onto this right. Oh, he missed the apex by a slight margin there. He could have taken more of it. Should have been slightly greedier. Oh, he misses the apex on the second last turn.
That's
and he
not a
misses
great
the apex on the
sector.
final turn as well. 133 flat, so definitely
I
a
think
lot.
he could have gone at least 5 times faster if he hit those apexes in the last sector
Yes,
alone.
you can take quite a sizable margin of those apexes on Russia, the final 2 corners, without corner cutting per se. So yeah, I mean, more risk has to be taken, but I think he was trying to be as safe as possible in order to just set a banker. Easy level bot. Meanwhile, coming up to the end of his lap, he's on to sector 3 right now. Even he's ABS off, for that matter. Takes sector 3, misses the apex by a slight bit. Second one is taken well though. Car looks in control. Let's see how he takes this section coming up next. Mayank, meanwhile, at 32.030, so he's on P2 right now. And easy level bot 32.137, so a good lap there by easy level as well.
Yeah, that's a decent lap from Easy Level Bot in the Williams, and impressive by Mayank. He's the only person who's just about into the 131s, but still not yet. Smooth being the other one with 32 flat, but he's on an out lap and he'll be hoping to, I don't know, stay there. His P3 is very, very tempting to just be in that position on this track, but I'm sure with this much time to go, every driver is going to try at least to go as fast as they can.
Yes, of course.
Vintage
and
has, yeah, what?
Vintage is, there's a yellow flag in his sector for some reason. I think it was a Mercedes letting Thakur was
Yeah,
Mercedes.
that was Thakur was just slowing down in the pit so he can, so that he does not impede Vintage, and the Vintage has just started his lap, so on the soft tire, so it's the mediums for now.
He's off in the first sector of his own time, 0.025 off. Heading into the second
that was
sector.
not the best of the lines through the right-hander, so.
But of course, his perception of a corner is slightly different from ours, because he rides it from a much higher view, if I'm correct. So 131.890 meanwhile by Strike Boy, so that's a decent time. Goes P2 with that.
So close between him and Thakur, just 5,000th of a second, and Vintage is down by massive margin, so not the best of the second sectors by Vintage.
And Vintage is coming up to the end. Let's see. Oh, takes a good healthy entry into that. Good exit of as well. Good exit of the last turn, but he's slower this time, so I think he's backed out at some point in this lap.
Yeah, he has, and might be going again.
Sector 1, there's a Ferrari, something's going on there, I think with Oxidize. There was an Alpine in his way. Not sure who that was, but let's see.
Has it become a little bit overcast? I think it has, Jin,
It
since
has.
we
Is
started
it
this
like
session.
yesterday's race where I'm not sure whether you watched yesterday's race, but it did start raining midway through. And when I asked the drivers about it, they said they had no idea it was going to rain. So if it's one of those races, then championship on. For that matter, all Vintage has to do in order to grab the championship really is to just finish ahead of Smith Shah. Because 2 points is the difference.
Swisha has put his car in P5 right now. He was on an out lap, but he's coming back into the pits. So for some reason, he's not happy with the lap which he put in the
Mayank
middle
is
of
on his
it. So
outlap and he's P3, so look at how close it is between P1 and P2, and then look at how close it is between P3 to P5. It's literally like under half a tenth the gap between P3 to P5, which is. We shall get to know if the track conditions are really changing or not, depending on how Mayank does
it
his
is raining,
outlap.
Jin. It is
Oh, it
raining.
is raining. So that means
Yeah.
that this is the order we'll be stuck with unless Mayank pulls something special out on this lap alone.
Sid is about to finish his lap because P13, not much improvement by Sid, and he will have to think of some way where he can launch himself into championship
I
contention
mean,
because I don't think anyone is going to improve now.
if there is a driver you'd look at for the most unexpected podiums of all time, it is Sid Venkatesh.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. So if you can just remind our viewers and me, what is the championship points right now? So I think Smith is leading.
Smith has 104. Vintage is 2 points behind him, and Sid is 13 points behind Smith Shah. So I mean,
Right.
it looks a lot like 2010, where everyone expected either Webber or Alonso to win, and then Sebastian Vettel just came out of syllabus and he just ended up winning the whole thing. So
Right.
yeah, I mean it's raining quite heavily now, and the second sector looks to be very slippery, but Mayank somehow still managing his car really really well. The second sector split should tell us everything right now. DRS is still enabled though, so the game has not judged it to be. Yeah, he's half a second off in the second sector, so definitely there is no more performance left in this track. I would love a mixed change race for the championship finale because mixed change interchangeable conditions always make things better. And there is no, I mean, Vintage is in a McLaren, and McLaren in Russia have been known to make great decisions when it comes to interchangeable conditions. So let's see how it pans out for him this time around.
Yeah, I think you might have just anti-jinxed him or reverse jinxed him by saying that, but yeah, I think 2 minutes to go, 2.5 minutes more like, but people might be on the track, a couple of them on their out laps. I don't think they're going to go any faster. And yeah, Mayank retired from the session. Redstone coming back in, and I think other drivers will follow suit as well.
So yeah, I think that is it. I think all of them will retire from session at this point. And I
Right, so
think
Ace in it
everyone.
is on his outlap. Abhi is on track. Is trying for a run. Maybe just getting used to the conditions, or maybe a
But why
sign of
would you
safety
do
car.
that on soft tires?
TRS is enabled. That's why I'm not sure.
No, it's
But
disabled now. His rear wing is closed, so.
yeah, now his engine code, it was showing enabled for me as we do have
Uh,
the detection zone. But
Meanwhile, HVP asking what's the weather forecast. Right now it's raining. I don't know what's gonna happen later. So yeah, that's the weather forecast for you right there.
right, so Swagboy, Chipshima, Abhi is going back on the pits.
And I think he should retire from session as
Shabazz
well.
and Abdul, yeah, these are the drivers who are yet to retire. And once they do, we'll get started with the race.
And if everyone retires, I think the session automatically comes to an end or something. I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah, it
But there's
does.
10 seconds left anyway, so it doesn't really matter at this point. But yeah, as we go, Thakurva has taken pole position by 0.005 seconds. Yeah, followed by Mayank in P3, Redstone in P4, championship leader Smith is in P5, easy level bot separating the two championship contenders with P6, Vintage in 7th, Chips Shima 8th, Oxidize 9th, Haza 10th, Abhi 11th, Ace 12th, Sid 13th, Bill Wang 14th, Manan 15th, Shabazz in 16th, Ziak 17th, and Abdul Samad in P18. So it should be interesting to see, if especially if it's a wet start. You never know what's gonna happen. Easy level bot just telling us on the comment section that dry race apparently being a very strong word he's using. So we shall see what happens. I hope it's interchangeable, but I hope it's like dry to
Yeah, me too.
wets rather than wets to dry or dry to wets. Malav, what would you prefer? I mean, not that it really matters now because we've already seen the weather.
I would prefer dry to wets because it's very interesting to see some battles at the end of the race when people have more or less been cautious throughout the race, but then they finally put on a set of softs and then just go hell to leather. But it's very, very sunny right now, Jen. So maybe our prayers are not really answered, at least right now. But let's hope for some wet weather running throughout towards the end of the race. But either ways, time to see tires.
So, of course, top 10 start on the tires that they qualified on. That doesn't change. Abhi on mediums, Sid on mediums, Bill Wang on mediums, Ziak on mediums. So, four medium runners outside the top 10, and the rest 1, 2, 3, 4. So, 4 and 4 it is.
Yeah, and so Sid Venkatesh choosing that alternate strategy. I remember he did that in IRL as well, and almost paid off because of two safety cars. Let's see what he can do this time around. But he would be hoping for safety cars between lap I don't know 6 or 7 until 12. That's probably the window where most of the soft runners, if there's a safety car coming in, they will definitely pit. So let's see. Mayank, I want to see how he does. He's starting P3, has shown good qualifying pace, and if he can keep out of trouble, I think he will be the one to watch for the race win as well.
Yes, of course, Mayank has been on the pace in recent weeks, but he's been just unlucky. So, I mean, he definitely needs some luck to get back there.
Yeah.
And you know, one race win changes a lot. It gets you confidence back in yourself, and then you keep. You may get on a streak after that. And considering it's the season finale, let's not forget that Nico Rosberg in 2015 won the final two races, I'd like to wager, and then won the first four of the next season. So a lot of momentum
Yeah,
is
he
built up
did
from.
win six in a row. Also. Right, I see Ziak and Abdul. That's a huge gap they have to the cars in front, which is now shrinking. We should be fine, but Ziak needs to close up to Shahbaz ASAP.
Of course, but I think the drivers are lining up on the grid now.
Yeah, they are.
Meanwhile,
It's
HVP
Ziak and
saying
Abdul. Yeah.
HVP saying that if he just gets a chance to finish a race, he'd be happy.
Without having connection issues, I might add.
Of course, that is the most important thing. But here we go. I think everyone's on the grid lined up. We just waiting for things to start. Yes, we are. And here we go. Five red lights, and away we go. Thakurva seems to have gotten a good start. But look at Mayank. Mayank has gotten a very, very compromised start. But the Aston Martin, side by side, this may not end up well. Malo, Swagboy and Thakurva going at it really, really hard right now. There's an Alpine who's joined the fray as well.
Smith losing a few positions there, but
Vintage has lost positions as well. Sid meanwhile has lost positions. So right now it's championship for Smith. Smith has jumped up to P4. But Easy Level Bot and Smith are going at it each other again. Oh, Easy Level Bot has had a moment. He just goes out. As a result of that, the Redstone Dub meanwhile is chasing Thakurva. So Thakurva definitely compromised by starting in P1. Something has happened. Is it Bill? Something Sid?
Ziak.
No, it's not Sid. It's Ziak. It's Ziak.
Sid is without a front wing.
Let's say if it brings, there's no VSC though, there's no such major incident that will mandate a VSC right now. So as things stand,
Vintage is under attack from Ace.
Ace is getting closer and closer behind Vintage. He goes on, oh, he has to back out, otherwise it would have been an incident, and he smartly chooses to do so. Vintage there had to show some aggressive defending because he knows the more position he loses now, the harder it is to make it back. And I've said this time and time again, Russia is a race won in the second phase, but that does not mean that you want your first phase to be bad as a result of that policy. Easy Level Bot meanwhile heading into the pits. Vintage heading into the pits. They have to pit. If they want a one-stop strategy, this has to be hard tires.
So 2 out of 3 championship contenders already putting on lap 1. And Sid is yet to pit because he's yet to reach that part of the track. But
so right now Smith must be, I mean, I don't think Smith is actually getting any information of this sort, but if he knew, he'd be quite happy. Right now,
yeah,
the way
at least you can see Vintage player not behind him anymore.
So Vintage has decided to go for mediums, which means that he's essentially banking on another safety car appearing. Redstone Dub, meanwhile, this is not an overtaking zone that I traditionally associate in Russia, and I was correct. It pushes him all the way to the inside, and that's pretty much a warning right there. This isn't one either, so definitely needs to take his time. And Thakur is doing enough to keep. But what this is allowing is, Swagboy to run away a bit. 1.2 has already been pulled out. So Thakur needs to somehow figure out a way to break this toe he has with Redstone Dog. Redstone using a lot of ERS is definitely going to go on the inside, is he?
He is going to go for it and
he was
cuts the corner a little bit, but has to stay behind. Can Smith take advantage of this?
Jumping down the inside. Oh, he hasn't completely. He was compromised like that, Smith. So things will stand the way they are now. And what this has allowed, that move of Redstone to what it has allowed is Thakurva to pull away by half a second. So
look at the lead Swagboy has. Almost 2 seconds.
Yes, but
because of this battling between Redstone and Thakurva, and now Smith has joined the party. So has Mayank and Jipshima.
Let's see, Redstone has DRS on Thakurva right now. He won't be close enough to make the move, will he? No, he won't. That's a very forceful move. I think he cut across the track. I think Redstone might have had a very dodgy overtake there because he did cut the track from what I saw. Smith and Thakur meanwhile going wheel to wheel, and then here's Mayank who's joined the fray as well. Mayank is ahead of Thakur, is he? Yes, he is.
So Thakur lost 3 positions in one sector there.
Unfortunate for him, but this is the power of DRS right now, and I think from P2 onwards is going to be a bit of a train.
Takuma going very deep into that corner, and that invites Chip Shima to overtake him. Chip Shima right from the outside, and he will have a good run on Takuma, but both of them have DRS.
He stays behind for now. He had to back off. Takura very smart there on the straight. Will he be able to know? I don't think so. He'll go wide if he tries it. So he has to stay within the white lines for now. Meanwhile, this is allowing Oxidized Rage to catch up as well. So pretty interesting now. Smith being followed by Mayank, who's being followed by Thakur, who has been followed by Chip Shima.
Smith on Redstone. I think Smith is going to go for that move there. Oh, there's a yellow flag.
Happened. There's a Mercedes. That's Abdul Samad, I think.
Yes, Smith. Championship leader is doing all the right things. He had a very hairy moment in turn 2 of the first lap. Almost got spun around. But has now clawed himself up into P2, and his next target is Swagboy.
Meanwhile, Smith is cutting into Swagboy's lead now, so definitely a lot of pace on offer. And Abdul Samad and Ziak have gone on to the hard tires.
Yeah, Sid Venkatesh has gone on the softs, so I just noticed that. So he'll be making some inroads on Wang and the likes of Hazza, maybe with Vintage player.
So right now, as things stand, Smith Shah 1.7. Swagboy is definitely having an easier time of things because he doesn't have anyone to battle with right now. So he has his own natural pace he's driving at. Redstone, Mayank, Thakur, it's all a DRS zone really, and whoever undercuts from this DRS zone first might have a very sizable advantage.
Here's Redstone on Smith. Is Redstone going to go for the move? He is.
And he's made it stick. Smith goes wide, and that allows Mayank to grab him now. So he's taken the position from Smith as well. A pretty aggressive move there by Redstone Derp. And it sounds like a double downshift.
Brilliantly, but Mayank has gone deep. It was good in turn 4, but then turn 5 is where Mayank lost the car.
Hazza meanwhile has set the fastest lap of the race, so definitely the medium's working well for him, but now he has to make it last for such a long time. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy, and right now I think runners will look to pit around lap 10 or 11 or so. So it's going to be interesting to see who tries to be daring and pull off an undercut at this point. Mayank meanwhile is chasing Redstone Derp. Not close enough this time, this lap around. Thakurva is behind Smith Shah again. Chip Shima is behind Thakurva, and then Oxidize is following them as well. So from P2 to P6, it's a DRS train.
Yeah, and it's helping Redstone, it's helping Swagboy once again, because he was under threat from Smith a little bit, but now because there's a battle for P2, he's able to focus on his own race. I don't think Mayank is close enough for an overtake on this lap at least, so Redstone should be fine.
No one should be. They're just using DRS at this point, and if these drivers want to catch up to Swagboy, they'll have to coordinate together. Because without it, it's quite tough to get past. The fact that they need quite a bit of teamwork here to get past. Meanwhile, till P9, the gap is sustainable. From P10 onwards, Shahbaz is quite a far distance behind Ace. So I think something must have happened to Shahbaz as well. Abdul Samad gets a 3-second penalty in the meantime. Well, there's Vintage who's coming up to the back of Easy Level Bot. Easy Level Bot who is catching up to Shahbaz now, but he's not catching him fast enough. Manan there went quite wide.
He's putting Redstone under more pressure now, and the gap being just 4 and a bit tenths. If not on this lap, oh, it might be on this lap. Mayank is going for it.
I don't think he'll be close enough to pull it off, but let's see. Oh, he's side by side heading into the braking zone, and Mayank has outbraked himself. But he's exited out ahead, and oh, that's a spin.
But it's through. Mayank is round.
Yeah, Mayank lost traction right there. So now Mayank has to pit again. It's a VSC. It's a VSC. They could pit. You know, they could pit. It's a very cheeky pit stop if someone pulls it off. Smith decides not to. Thakurva decides to stay out as well. Chips decides to stay out as well.
I don't think Chip Shima's Redstone has pitted as well, so it's not a free pit stop, but it's a cheap pit stop. Does Redstone have damage? He has, so he will be. That's a wing change for him. Chip Shima on the hards, so is Redstone.
I think they could have gone on the mediums. I think mediums will last 20 laps from this point onwards. So yes, Swagboy is meanwhile. Smitshaw gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under VSC. So that is now championship becomes interesting as a result of this. If Vintage can get into the points, definitely there is something on offer here. Because he has to pit. This is essentially 2 times that he has to pit. Easy level bot meanwhile has gotten past Cafe Racer Shabazz. Vintage is making a move on Cafe Racer Shabazz as well. He takes the inside of it and he's gotten past. So that is Vintage into P11. He's going to use the DRS.
Sid might make a move as well on Bill Wong. There he goes.
Now Smith has to serve a DRS, so he will let Thakurva by. There is no point in Smith defending this any harder than he has to. So that has opened up the championship completely. Now it's almost like this is scripted. Like you would see this and think it was scripted, but we can promise you it's not an episode of Drive to Survive.
It's not an episode of Arava career mode as well. Sid just about stays ahead, but he will have a hard time keeping the lights on.
Smith is serving his VSC right now. Very importantly, he did not get, and I cannot stress how important this is, he did not get a 5-second penalty.
5 second. That would have been disastrous.
So let's see if Smith comes out really. If he comes out behind Chip Shima, then it's race wide open right now. But remember, Smith has to pit again, so even if he's marginally ahead of Chip Shima, he will have to pit again. Meanwhile, Smith, I think, is out on track. Yes, he's just exiting the pit lane right now. Chip Shima can see him.
Despite serving a drive-through, Smith is still in P6.
No, but but now he has to pit. I think in 2 laps time or something. And if safety car doesn't show up for him.
Yeah, he has to pit, but so does everyone ahead of him. So he's gonna lose time to the likes of Chip Shima, Redstone, Ace.
Now the most important thing is, will Vintage Player be ahead of Smitshaw by the time everything is said and done?
Yeah, but I doubt Vintage can go the entire race on those mediums. Is that possible?
It is possible, but only if he has maximum tire pressures on. If he doesn't, then it's not.
Right, so that will be interesting to see. So, you know, Smith, it's not that bad for him right now, even after the drive-through. And let's see what happens.
Meanwhile, Chip Shima is on
Vintage! Vintage, I was on board with him and he has lost traction coming out of the left-hander. He has lost his wing completely.
And now definitely these people will pit. Oh, Thakurva has to stop. He can't do anything. He's lost out the chance to pit. But who hasn't is Mayank and Oxidize. I think what must have happened is as soon as Thakurva took the final corner, that's when the VSC would have showed up. And Thakurva, who does not want to repeat his mistakes, chooses to slow down by quite a fair margin. Now Smith gets a free pit stop because of this, essentially. It's a cheat pit stop for him as well. But Chip Shima now will easily get past him, but he won't. Oh, Cafe Racer Shabazz gets a DT for speeding under VSC.
Yeah, so Smith pits, VSC has ended by the way, so we can go racing again. Sid has lost the position to Bill Wong.
Something happened.
Oh, Sid has lost it!
Oh yeah,
oh my god, what is happening to the championship leaders tonight? Sid has lost it. He is still going to continue. I don't think he has damage, but look at the time he has lost.
But what this does do for Vintage is now it essentially makes sure that he will end the race on this set of tires alone. But the more troubling thing for him is he's lost so much time. Meanwhile, 2.3 is the gap. Shima is 22 seconds behind. So these top two will definitely need to pit this lap or the next. And they stay out again. Manan meanwhile has caught up to Ace, and right now Manan has the tire advantage. Ace went on to the hard tire, so this is Manan. If Manan wants to get an overtake, then this has to happen quite soon. Mayank meanwhile is on the back of Redstone Dub all over again, so it's Mayank versus Redstone part 2.
Yeah, I don't think Mayank is gonna catch this lap. But sorry, Mayank is on Redstone in fact, and
he won't be close enough to make the move.
He won't be close enough unless he goes for a dive bomb. Ace, I think, has outbreaken himself, and Manan might have a chance. But Mayank, what a run he's having on Redstone.
No, he went too far wide. Yeah, the dirty air pushed him too far wide out. So now Mayank's braking is compromised for the next set of corners, but he stays behind. So now it's Manan chasing down Ace. Oh my god, what is that line there? I'm not sure. Redstone Dub meanwhile uses the outside of the track to overtake. So I think this is definitely a very... Oh, Manan might have broken his front wing there.
Is the level bot trying to go through?
Yeah, Manan definitely has a broken front wing. Meanwhile, the top two still continuing on. No one's pit yet amongst the top two. Sector 1, there's something that happened. Safety car?
It's Zia who has lost it, but I think it's fine. No safety car. You know, the top two, the kind of lead they have, Swagboy and Thakurwa, I think they should be fine even if they're not prepared. Switcha and Hansa are battling.
I mean, right now, the one thing that could cost, that would be great beneficial, like, I know that they'll come out quite far ahead. There's something that happened in Sector 3. I think that's Shabazz who has spun. No, that's not Shabazz. There's another Red Bull. I think that was Haza.
That was Haza. Yeah, that was Haza.
I think right now what is important for Thakurwa if he wants to win this race is first and foremost to not get a penalty, 3-second penalty or whatever it may be. Just drive his own natural race. And the race will eventually come to him as things stand. They've gone 10 laps now. I think definitely one of these two should be looking for a pit. So let's see who triggers the undercut. Because right now Thakur's only option is whatever this guy, what's his name, Swagboy does, he will follow suit. Meanwhile, Easy Level Bot is making up ground on Ace. And Redstone is immediately behind as well.
So Easy Level Bot is past Ace.
Yes, he is.
Redstone is trying to Thakurwa and Swagboy both pit.
And both will go on the medium, so neither of them got a 5-second penalty, so I think Chips will not be close enough to either of them. Oh, actually he will take both of them.
What am I saying? He will take Thakurwa and Swagboy as well, maybe. There we go.
Swagboy doesn't have to fight this. He knows he can get it at some point else on the track.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Thakur has lost out some positions because now he has to fight Mayank, then he has to fight Oxidize again. So, if Chips Shima can hold up Swagboy, then that opens up the avenue. Bilwang meanwhile gets a 3-second penalty. Remember, all these people are racing for position at this point, so it's not like anyone else has to pit. But if a safety car comes up, let's say around lap 17, then it opens up the race again. As it stands, though, Smith Shaw is in a comfortable P9. He's 10 seconds behind Ace, and Hazza is 10 seconds behind him further, so nothing's changing right now.
Then I think that might help Smith Shaw just to focus on his own race and not really battle with the cars, because not being the best of the drives for him so far, especially that drive through. Assuming that was his mistake. And overswag by already on the back of Chip Shima, and that's the Astons switching positions.
All Swagboy has to make sure is that he doesn't make a mistake at any point now. Russia, I mean, it's a track where it looks hard, it looks simple, but can be deceptively tricky at points. So we continue on.
Thakurova might be hoping to get Mayank on this lap, both of them on almost similar tires because of age as well, so won't be that easy. Here is Thakurova using a lot of battery, and this time he's going to go for it. Dive down the inside into turn 2, and Thakurova, oh, he almost lost the car. That was a long way back. I'm not even sure why he tried that, but lives to fight another day.
Oxidize meanwhile is on the back of Chip Shima as well. Oxidize, if he wants to win this race, he has to get past Chip Shima as fast as possible, but unfortunately he won't be close enough on this lap. The only good advantage he has is that Chips does not have DRS. Oh, Oxidize gets another 3-second penalty. That was way too much corner right there. There should be a league system wherein there's one league race every year on the calendar where it's regular corner cutting, so we can just see how expert people are at doing it. Chip stays ahead.
Oxidize still behind Chip Shima. I think on the main straight is when he will probably for me.
Vintage, meanwhile, is chasing Bill Wang. If Bill Wang understands the scenario of the championship, he probably would let Vintage through, but let's see.
I don't think he might even be able to put a bit of a fight here on Vintage, as Oxidize overtakes Chip Shima, and Vintage is through as well.
There's a Red Bull Ghoster in front of him, that's Shabazz, but he's not close enough to make a difference right now. So as things stand,
so Smith has cut down the gap from 10 seconds to just 6.5 seconds.
But 13 laps, even if it takes him like let's say 8 laps to do it, then again it's only for one position because there's a 2.3 second gap between Ace and Redstone. So yeah, at best P8 with penalties maybe he could jump up, but he has to count on other drivers getting penalty first and foremost.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you can see Thakur is slowly clawing back the gap on Mayank again. Sorry, 9/10 now the gap. So next lap he'll have DRS at the start finish straight, so he can attack him again. What is happening? Manan meanwhile is 3/10 behind Bill Wang. Hazza gets another 3-second penalty. Thakur is now within 8/10 of... Oh, that came very close to breaking Manan's front wing again. Okay, Manan. Ace gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane in the meantime. So Smith is up into P8 now. Next up is Redstone Dub for him. Mayank is now getting DRS as a result of Chip Shima, so this is not worked out for Thakur. I would have counted Mayank taking a little bit longer to catch up to the driver in front of him, but he is still fighting for P3. Don't get this wrong.
And Mayank's red light is flashing as well, so he is struggling with his battery conservation, as is expected on this track as well. So you have to be mindful of his battery usage, otherwise Thakurwa will overtake him without much difficulty.
Mayank, but he's really close to Chipchima, so I think this is where the overtake happens.
Yeah, I think he's going to go for it and hopefully does not use a lot of battery in trying to get past. There he goes. That's him across, and I think after if he gets his braking right, which he does.
Meanwhile, Thakur has now caught up to Chipchima, so on the start-finish straight probably is where he'll overtake Chipchima.
Yeah.
Now Thakur will have to use Mayank as a slingshot to pull him up the rest of the pack. But if Mayank's pace stagnates and Thakur can't get past him, that's going to be problematic for Thakur alone. So right now, let's see. Mayank sets a 34.5, so fastest lap of the race already. Ships will have DRS, but he's out of ERS, as evidenced by the red light blinking. So is Mayank for that matter. I'm not sure how much Thakur has. Thakur is not using any, I think, from the looks of it.
Yeah, Thakur doesn't have much either.
So let's see now. Thakur will definitely make his move on the second DRS zone of this track. 0.334, yeah, it's coming down as it goes on and on. 3.5 tenths, under 3 tenths now. The gap, I think, as this corner exit matters a lot. Okay, Thakur got a really good exit.
Yeah, and using his battery, so Thakur is definitely going to go for a move here. Chipchima defends the inside.
And Thakur has made it stick. That was a good move there by
Force
Thakur.
his way through Thakur. That is some really good racing from both of them.
He had to strong arm his way, but that was clean. So we like to
It
see
was
clean,
clean,
aggressive racing. Let's see if he gets DRS from Mayank. He's within a second.
He's going to get it.
But did he pass the activation zone at the right point?
Oh, he just moved out of it, and this is going to be.
Mayank had some problem migrating horse. I don't know why. Are you getting hit with the migrating horse problem as well, Malav?
No, I'm not.
For me, it's showing migrating horse. I'm not 100% certain why. It still is.
I'm watching the stream on you. I'm watching the stream on my laptop as well, and it seems fine.
It seems fine. So then it shouldn't be an issue. I'm not sure what's happening right now, but it might just be a false alarm.
Yeah. Thakurwa on Mayank.
This time
So
around,
P3.
second DRS zone should do it. This is extremely close now between these two. But the advantage of the DRS should pull him through. Mayank is out of ERS completely. Thakur just using the power of DRS alone. And he gets past. Up next, Oxidized Rage. Remember, Oxidized I think has 6 seconds worth of penalties. Let's look at it. Yeah, he has 6 seconds worth of penalties. So Thakur is essentially net P2 right now, but of course he wants that P1.
Right, does Mayank? Can he get him back? I think it's too far back. And Thakurwa will have DRS on Oxidized. At least it's 6 frames on Oxidized.
Hazza is getting a lot of 3-second time penalties. I hope he doesn't get disqualified for it though. Keep in mind, Ziak is up ahead, his ghost at least, so I'm not sure about that. But Thakur meanwhile just keeps up with Oxidized Rage. Second DRS straight is where the move will be made.
Oh, yellow flag. Fine now.
Here we go.
Yep.
Thakur has got DRS. on the inside, and he pulls through. He pulled the move. That's a brilliant move. He did it way before the braking zone as well. So now what this does is it places Thakur at the head of a DRS zone, at the head of a DRS train, which I'm not sure is the best place to be. But the two people in front of him had the red lights flashing, so I think they go. 6 seconds. Meanwhile, the gap between the top two, and yeah, I don't think Oxidize will be close enough to battle Thakur right now. So is anything else happening? Easy Level is in the pits.
So that promotes Smith up a position, and he has closed up to Redstone bit by bit.
So yeah, Vintage is now in P10, but as it stands, Smith is winning the title. Mayank gets a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately for him. But now Swagboy has run too far out. We need a safety car to neutralize this race. Thakur gets a 3-second as well. Yeah, we need a safety car. So if anyone could make that happen, you know, it'd be greatly appreciated. You'll get the role of moderator in League of Sandbaggers if you can make that happen right now.
Easy Level was just coming out behind Ace.
But ahead of Vintage Player, I think.
Yeah, crucially, very crucially ahead of Vintage Player.
And he's on soft tires as well, so Easy Level will be the fastest driver in the closing stages of this race. He's directly behind Ace right now, but he does have fresher softs than Ace. So I think he's going to try and overtake him on this back straight.
If he can, yes, otherwise main straight is always an option. If not using his battery at all, Easy Level bot. He has a lot of closing speed. It is going to give him a wide berth. He has given him a lot of space. Ace has gone deep, but I think he'll keep the position until the start of the next
Oxidize
lap.
meanwhile is so close to Thakur, still can't make it stick. Another 3-second time penalty for Oxidize rage, so that is I think 9 seconds worth of penalties now. Yeah, that is 9 seconds worth of penalties now. He needs to be careful here. I know he's trying to push because he sees P2 is in front of him, but he's losing out on... He's going further and further down the grid as a result of his aggressive driving.
Here goes Easy Level bot.
Meanwhile, Easy Level bot has gotten past Ace already, and can he catch up to Smith Shah? There's 9 laps left. It needs to be 2 seconds per lap roughly.
Oh, yellow flags.
Please, safety car.
Ace?
I mean, Malav, you have to be honest, the race looks a little dull right now, so I'm just saying a safety car will spice things up, you know. So yeah,
That absolutely would. But it's good that Oxidize, Mayank and Thakur are giving us a...
And Swagboy gets a 3-second time penalty now.
Swagboy will have to be careful, but everyone behind him has time penalty as well. Yellow flags, I think it's Bill Wang.
Bill Wang right there, and yeah,
No,
nothing really.
I think with the McLaren, maybe Vintage had a moment. It's fine. I think it's a yellow flags because of a McLaren, and I immediately assumed it would be Bill Wang and not Vintage. Seems like it was neither of them.
It did
But it could be the Haas of Ziak maybe, because Ziak is right in front of him.
Possibly.
Vintage. He's lapped and he is without a front wing, if I'm not wrong.
5.6 seconds right now. The gap between the top two. Nothing really happening. You know how in open lobbies people make up their own safety cars?
I think that's what's needed, but we need all the drivers to be in the Redstone gets a time penalty as well.
I mean, the only thing that would make... Oh, virtual safety car.
Oh, VSC. What caused that?
I'm not sure. Ziak is there. Oh, Haza might have caused it. He just went into the pit, so it might have been something to do with him. Some Hazard's race is looking very hazardous tonight, so I don't know what's going on. 7.0. Meanwhile, Thakur he doesn't want to get a drive through so badly that he's just ready to lose 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, whatever it may be.
Right, something about those DSCs, it's getting a lot of drivers out. Not just today, but I've seen that in the last few weeks. And people don't get as many drive-throughs under safety cars as they get. DSCs, oh, what is Mayank doing there? Mayank, why is he overtaking? Bill Wong gets a drive-through. Mayank gets both of them.
Wait, but what happened right there? I'm not sure. Mayank just started accelerating all of a sudden and now he's passed.
Yeah, because it was safety car was ending, so he went probably at the exact right moment. And
you need so much luck to time this correctly. Now, if we can see a full course safety car, that would be brilliant. Sector 2, Sector 3, something happened again. There's a McLaren. Bill Wang has DNF.
Oh, is this it? Is this it, Chin?
Fingers crossed.
Is this?
Wait, but Bill Wang's car is still moving, so I'm not sure what's going on right there. Please tell me. Did he retire? No, one retired in the pits. I'm not sure what's exactly happening right now. Ziak also retired in the pits. But Bill Wang's car was on track. I mean, this is tricky. Yeah, no, nothing. So, yeah, thank you, Codemasters.
No moderator role for Bill Wang.
No moderator role for Bill Wang. He tried his best.
And Ziak is having issues. Oh, Ziak has to. Alright, so Restaurant Up is behind, but Thakurwa is going to go for a move on Mayank. He's going to get its P2 back, and Thakurwa does exactly that. Didn't take him long, and he is back into P2. Swagboy has a lead of 4.8 ahead.
I don't think he's losing that lead. Even if he gets a 6-second penalty, he'll still win the race. So, yeah. I mean, if he gets 9 seconds penalties, that would make it interesting. Redstone meanwhile is past Manan right now, but he has a penalty and he is being chased by Vintage. I think this is a race that saw too much action at the beginning and not enough towards the end, so that is the problem with this track.
Well, I have a lot of problems with this track, but we'll make do. Oxidized Rage. Can he get? I think he has just really time.
Not close enough. Redstone is past my Vintage as well, so.
Yeah, and 9 seconds of penalties as well. So, as long as Mayank gets DRS from Thakurwa just for a lap more, I think he'll be fine for that. P3. Haza has retired, and that is in the pits.
Doesn't look like it's in the pits.
What is with people retiring on track? There is his car. He's definitely retired on track. I think someone should check this in the stewards report. But Swagboy goes through and starts lap number 24 of the 7.
So, I thought that retiring on track brings out safety cars. It's not happening in this case, so.
I think people have heard you, Jim.
Yeah.
They want that moderator role that bad. That they're ready to.
Racing Gupta is asking in the comments, did Bill Wang retire on track? I'm not sure about Bill Wang, but Haza.
It seems like it, and
Haza definitely
Bill Wang
did.
as well as Haza, both of them. So you might want to check that. And it seems like Thakurwa is safe from Mayank, who is safe from Oxidize, who is not at all safe from Chipsuna. So, as it stands, Chipsuna is set to get a P4 away from Oxidize.
So nothing really
It's
happening.
kind of a lackluster end to the championship, but I think Smith Shah has done enough in this race and throughout the season.
I mean, what would make this thing interesting now if it's a heavy downpour and suddenly cars start spinning around? One can only dream. So yeah, I'm just dreaming at this point right now. Meanwhile, Swag Boy has under no pressure really. He doesn't even. Uh, he's led nearly every lap of this race, nearly being the keyword. But yeah, there's no threat to his lead right now. He was pretty fast in the first stint, utilized the fact that Thakur had to get past a couple of other drivers to so that he was able to eke out from what was a 2.2 second gap in the pit to a 4 second gap now. And yeah, unless he gets another 3 second penalty, this race is his for the taking. And even if it did get another 3 second penalty, it is going to take something special. About 9 tenths worth from Thakur to catch up to him. So
yeah, and he knows he has basically 4 seconds to play with. So I'm sure he'll not be taking any unnecessary risks with this track. It's known to be notorious for time penalties sometimes, especially the first 2 sectors. So
yes, there
I
are.
think it'll just easing off.
A great driver once taught me that if you can extend Russia as much as you want, as long as you keep backing off your throttle off it. So yeah, I mean.
Speaking of which, Redstone gets a time penalty, so that's 6 seconds for him, which means Vintage moves up a position. It's not going to help him in the championship.
Unless Smith DNFs, it's not going to help him in the championship. No, no,
oh,
even if
what's
it
that? Okay, that was
that was
very
Thakur.
weird card movement.
I think that was Thakur. He's lost a lot of ground.
No, I think it was Oxidize. It was the Ferrari Oxidize who I think lost a lot of time, and yeah. Mayank is back in striking distance of Thakur, so
still not close enough.
He used up a lot of battery to be there.
Most importantly, he doesn't want to get another 3 second penalty because then Thakur can just let him by and then just finish behind him for the P2. So yeah. Oh, also allow me to correct myself. Even if Vintage finished behind in P9 and Smith shot DNF, because Smith has more wins this season, he'll still take the championship. So yeah, that would be the end of that.
Redstone overtakes 8, so that's just going to P8 sector 1 yellow flag.
That's with Abdul Samad, I think. The Mark of Abdul Samad was just passing that area. I'm not sure what happened. Mayank is 4 tenths behind now. So all the attack is going to come on the start-finish straight. But for this to happen, he does need to be within half a second to pull this off.
I think Thakur might have got this because Mayank is using his battery at every possible opportunity, and that's just allowing Thakur to go about this a little bit strategically and take home the P2.
And yeah, not close enough on this lap as well, and this is the last lap, so
yeah.
Swag Boy meanwhile has driven such a good race. Only the 3 second penalty, the only stain on such a good race, I'd say. Or Mayank gets a tank slapper exiting that, and he's already in recharge mode, so Thakur can deposit as much battery as he wants down the straight because the gap is now 7.5, 8 tenths now, so it's definitely game over at this rate for Mayank.
Yeah, it still has P3. I think P2 might not just work out. And yeah, I think he'll be satisfied with that. Yeah, let's focus on Swagboy now, who is a couple of corners away from taking his. I'm not sure if this is his first race win.
Even I'm not sure as well, but a win is a win. Whether it's your first or your second or your 100th, it doesn't really matter. Glides across and he finishes in P1. Here comes Thakur across. P2 it is for him. Mayank rounds out the podium. I'm pretty sure Chip Shima will get P4 as a result of Oxidizer's penalties, and that is correct. Smith will finish in P6 and he will be crowned D2 champion for Tier 2 champion. Sorry, D2 is force of habit. Tier 2 champion for LOS. With that, it cements most likely a move for him up to Tier 1 now. Easy level bot coming across and he will take P7. What a stylish way to finish right there. Drifted across. Redstone Dub meanwhile. And he's coming up. He'll take P8. P9 for Ace. P10 for Vintage. Oh, P8 for Vintage actually. So he did jump 2 positions.
Yeah, and lots of carbon fiber on the track. So I was just having some fun while finishing the races. And yeah, Abhi is going to be in P12. Sid, what a bad race for him. That's really unfortunate for him in P13, but yeah, kudos for him. I mean, he'll be coming back very strong next season.
He is a constructor champion, so
yeah, and his teammate won the championship, the drivers' championship. So I'm not sure he's complaining at all as he slides across the track for his race finish.
Quite a lonely race it must have been for Sid because he wasn't close to anyone at one point. That is race over. Congratulations to Swagboy for winning the Tier 2 finale of Season 1. Followed by Thakurva in P2, Mayank in P3, Chip Shima in P4, Oxidize in P5. Our champion Smith, who was confirmed champion on this very race, finishes in P6, Easy level 7th, Vintage 8th. That's runner-up solidified for Vintage. Redstone in P9, Ace in P10, Manan 11th, 12th to Abhi, 13th Sid Venkatesh, and then 14th and 15th. Abdul and Cafe Racer and 16, 17, 18 were all DNFs for various reasons. Haza, Bill Wang, and Ziak round up the bottom 3. So yes, Madhav, quite a... I mean, the beginning of the race was good, but I think from the mid part of it kind of died down a bit in terms of action, but...
Yeah, it did, but I think it's fine. We were due a race where not a lot of action, but yeah, good on the podium contest. I've already invited them to the party. Let me just see if Smith is available as well. Let's have a chat with him since he is the drivers' champion as well as the constructors' champion. I don't know if I have him in the friends list. I might have to just type his name out.
It's fine. Just call the drivers' champion, and we can continue on from there.
Who won the championship?
So Thakur
Smith won the championship.
Smith Shah?
Yeah.
Oh, Smith.
Right, Mayank is here as well. So then maybe you can start with Mayank, who finished P3.
Okay, I will. Mayank, good qualifying by you, bro. You had a bad start, right? Did you bog down at the start, or what happened as soon as lights went out?
I think I had a cold test because I didn't know when that autopilot mode is going to be on. So I think I had a cold test. That's why I got the wheel spin in the beginning. Yes.
So from there it was just a case of fighting back, and I noticed quite a fair amount of carnage and stuff was going on in front of you. So how were you able to navigate through it? And you did have an incident with someone in your first soft stint around lap 6?
Yes. I think it was Redstone, and I'm really sorry about that because I did kind of launch for that corner and it didn't came off, and I think he lost his wing after that also, so I'm pretty sorry about that for Redstone. It was my mistake. But apart from that, I think it was not an easy race. Everybody wanted, because of the finale, I think everybody wanted to give their best of the best, and when that happens, it's actually very difficult to have an incident-free race. So I tried myself to keep away from these incidents, but still, one incident here and there can happen. So it's okay.
All right. But congratulations on being a podium sitter in the final race of Tier 2 for this season. We hope to see you back for Season 2 as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, we move on to Thakurva, who got a P2. My co-commentator has a cough, so he really won't be talking much right now. So I'm just clarifying that in case you're waiting for a question from him as well. But yes, Thakur, I mean, a good lap that set you up for pole. But I mean, it looked quite, let's say, touch and go at the race start. Can you walk us through what happened?
Yeah, so about qualifying, so that was just a banker, and then the rain started, obviously. So that was, yeah, I mean, that was qualifying. And the race, I mean, it was just a lot of dirty driving. Like as Mayank said, it was just the last race, so probably everyone trying to just maximize everything they can. But Redstone hitting me off in the first, I think I got damaged there, and then after that, even after that, I had one more incident. Smith Shah, he pushed me off again, so I just completely lost it in the first few laps. I was like P5 or P6 at that point because I got hit by so many drivers that I just completely lost traction. And then after that, obviously, I tried to basically gain back whatever I could, and I almost lost my car in the second last lap. I lost my car almost, like I saved it, but that would have been a bad DNF. I think it's just because I'm still struggling with ABS slightly, locking up here and there, which is causing a bit of an issue. Eugene would know.
Also, with the second VSC that came out, you got a bit unlucky with the timing, if I'm correct, because I think you had already done the final corner and then the VSC came out, so you couldn't pull into the pits for a stop.
Yeah, that's what happened basically. So I got ahead of it, but honestly, it didn't matter because I feel like I would have caught up to this one, so like, because the 3 second that I got was actually invalid. Like, I actually didn't get it because Smith had hit me and I'd gone off there, so that wasn't a valid one. So I was actually, I might have just lost the win by like a tenth at this point because that's what I was trying to get into 3 seconds of swag, you know. So, but congrats to him, obviously, he drove a fantastic race.
All right. Thank you so much, Thakur, for your insights. We move on to Swag right now. Swag, can you hear me?
Something is in the party.
Okay, I don't think he is. So, I mean, congratulations to Swag as well. But we move on to our champion, Smith. First and foremost, congratulations on being the inaugural Tier 2 champion for LOS.
Thanks a lot, man.
Walk us through your the season, you know, the highlights of this season and the lowlights, of course, as well. And then I think it's more or less an entry into Tier 1 for you now with this performance. So, yeah, I mean, walk us through what you learned as the season progressed. And, yeah, you had blistering pace at certain tracks in this season as well. And that certainly solidified your status, made it easier for you to, you know, finish P1 at the end and the points table. So just walk us through your season, your highlights, your lowlights, whatever insights you'd like to share.
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting. I mean, first of all, thanks to everyone who, I mean, the directors and stewards and everyone basically for organizing this. And I would say season first half for me was dull. Second half is where I basically started picking up. New to the seasons, F1 and everything. So, of course, I also made a few mistakes. Singapore was horrible. Everyone knows that. But it was a good season for me because had a very healthy competition, kept up with Vintage, Sid, and other few guys. I feel if there are a few drivers who are like very, very quick at this, I think they weren't that consistent with the attendance. Maybe that's where they lost it. But I'm actually looking forward to the next season. I would say it was actually a great experience for me. Yep.
So that's it from not all of our two-thirds of our podium sitters for tonight and our champion, of course. But that has been LOS Season 1. That has been wrapped up. If anyone would like to do a shout out of any kind, please let me know because this is a popular demand.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I would like to shout out to Sid. He's been a great teammate, to be very honest. And he also got the Constructors Font T2. So, shout out to him. We were, like half of the races we were on comms. We used to, plan out strategies and stuff. But yeah, he has been a great teammate, I would say.
All right, and yeah, I mean, LOS as certain tier 1 was won by the Red Bulls, tier 2 was won by the Alpha Tauris. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see next season on, which will soon share details about, which will be good to see if anyone can match up to the Red Bull family as such. But that has been it for tonight and for the last time for season 1. This is me, Jin Sanity, Jin Cubic, call me what you want. Signing out as your commentator along with Malav / you can beat me. Thank you so much for showing up again. Congratulations to all of us, all our champions, all our constructor winners, and thank you to each and every one of you who helped make this league a success. So goodbye and good night.